From adventures in the furthest corners in the planet,
in one of the wildest places on Earth,
to cooking programs,
Always. Half of that creme pat needs to be flavored with salted caramel.
and producing some of the best drama in the landscape,
Shut up and stop being so stupid. Of course I'm real.
the UK's TV sector is one of the most varied you could find. A growing industry that creates thousands of jobs, boosts the economy, and gives us all what every human being, since the beginning of times, has been addicted to: stories. Today, we'll analyze some different types of formats and how they got produced, while taking a wee look into only some of its variety.
Did you hear something?
No?
Oh.
murderer, murderer.
Welcome to the Great British Bake Off.
We'll start our analysis talking about a household name, the Great British Bake Off. The format, made by Love Productions, has been broadcasted since 2010, starting in BBC Two for its first 4 seasons. Right after, it was moved to BBC One thanks to its popularity. However, since the 11th season, Channel 4 is in charge of its production. When talking about the Great British Bake Off, we are talking about flavors, a competition, but mainly the stories of each of its contestants. Starting with 12 of them, each week one participant will be eliminated until the final, when the last 3 bakers will compete to see who's the best chef. For this analysis, we chose episode 5 of series 11, a good example of the basic structure of the format.
It's pastry week!
It is presented by Matt Lucas and Noel Fielding.
Matthew, did you know the caged tart was actually invented by actor Nicolas Cage?
Yes, Noel, I did know that.
While the judges are chefs Prue Leith and Paul Hollywood.
Fantastic.
This series was filmed in a short 6-week period during the COVID-19 pandemic in a hotel near Hertfordshire, which probably influenced the open-air structure set.
What more?
When talking about the style, the program is composed of a fast-paced rhythm to create a bit of tension that never bores the watcher. It has a colorful tonal palette that shines in the close-ups of the plates and with the costume design.
What I can.
The format structure is composed by a fun introduction with its previously on the signature challenge,
But means creating a pastry that's entirely her own.
the technical
Now
challenge,
time for your technical challenge.
This is all about refinement, so the inside must be as perfect as the outside.
the showstopper
Time
challenge,
for your showstopper challenge. Paul and Prue would like you each to make a caged tart.
In the end of the episode, one contestant will be eliminated while other is named the Star Baker of the Week. As to the approach, the cameras spend a longer time with the Star Baker than the eliminated contestant. They also have a narrator and lots of interviews, same move of reality
As long
shows.
as I can. Hashtag winging it.
In conclusion, the Great British Bake Off is an entertaining format made for an extremely large target audience, aged from 30 to 60, who have time and enjoy baking. A particular case of success for a program that moves to a new channel.
I'll find out what it takes to create a new life in the wild.
We'll continue our analysis with a program that couldn't be more different from Bake Off. Ben Fogle's New Lives in the Wild is a format made by Renegade Pictures and Motion Content Group, being found on Channel 5 since April 2013. We would categorize it as a documentary. The format follows British adventurer Ben Fogle visiting desolated places in every corner of the world where humans live, alone or with their families. He will spend a week with them and become part of their day-to-day life, experiencing the challenges and rewards of living in the wild. For our analysis, we'll use Series 11, Episode 2, first broadcast on January 14, 2020. Fogle will visit Nikita Simov, a Russian scientist who moved to Siberia to revive the last ice age ecosystem and stop the melting of the permafrost. But we'll talk about the permafrost in a bit. First, it is time to analyze the formal structure. After a narrated intro, Ben Fogle arrives to the place where he is supposed to meet Nikita.
Who would live here?
We get a bio of the character, explaining us the story of him and his father.
What an incredible building.
Well, no. I got a much more romantic place for you.
Right after, the program submerges us in the scientific base Nikita lives in, showing us Fogle's accommodation with a particularly special look. He then proceeds to get to know the area. It's completely isolated, inhabited. The only visitors are scientists from different parts of the world. After various challenges and hundreds of mosquitoes, we proceed to meet Nikita's family.
She's boss.
Yeah, wow.
No, he says what to do, but he prefers not to argue with me.
After all this bit of introduction, the watcher accompanies Fogle and Nikita to the caves to the crux of the matter. Inside this ancient structure, the permafrost is thawing.
Now it's permafrost.
We get to see a bit more of Nikita's family and get a bit closer to the character just before he explains about the ecosystem he is trying to create to stop the melting.
He's been shipping different species here from across the world to recreate the ecosystem that existed during the last ice age.
We'll get to meet Nikita's dad, who explains again in a more detailed way why the permafrost thawing is an important problem for humanity. Soon after, we get to the end of the adventure. After some spectacular shots and good times between our characters, Fogle leaves on the way to his next adventure.
Siberia is.
The style on this program is completely different to the Great British Bake Off. It has lots of wide drone shots, showing us nature in its wildest and most spectacular side. We have talking heads and again a narrator, although this time it is less intrusive than in Bake Off. It is just Fogle. The shots are long in general, and the music accompanies in the feeling of adventure. In terms of lighting, it is naturalistic, using just the light from the environment. The episode has an ecological theme, with a target audience of people interested in traveling, adventures, and wildlife. It's been a few years, a pandemic and a war, since its production, so as a redactor note, Nikita Simov keeps running the park. However, with the actual political and economical situation, it is being difficult to fund. You can help them continue their titanious task through their Patreon page for only £5 a month. In conclusion, Ben Fogle's New Lives in the Wild is a different format that not only shows different corners of the planet, it opens the viewer's mind to important things, such as the thawing of the permafrost. What it does better is telling the stories of all these different people around the globe. And that's what television is all about. To conclude our analysis, we'll have a totally different program than the ones before. A household name that's been on our screens since 1963 and will celebrate its 60th anniversary next year. We're talking, of course, about Doctor Who. It is a format made by BBC Studios in Wales. We could categorize it as a drama or science fiction show, although some would call it children's TV. The format follows the adventures of an alien named the Doctor from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Casterborous. He or she travels through time and space in a machine called the TARDIS. For budget reasons, in the classical series, the TARDIS is stuck in the form of an old police box. The Doctor always travels with human companions who will learn about the universe and the Doctor's pacifist way of life, and also they serve as a representation of the audience in this wonderful and strange world.
Cannonball in the back. Oh, I bet that hurt.
There is no such thing as pain.
The selected episode is one of the most recent ones, episode 2 from series 13. Here, the Doctor is played wonderfully by Jodie Whittaker as the 13th incarnation of the Time Lord.
Known as the Doctor.
You're talking to her.
What?
Accompanied by Mandy Gill as Jazz.
Officer Khan, Hallamshire Police, Earth Division. At yours.
And John Lewis as Dan.
You kidding me?
What's interesting about this season is that it completely breaks the typical format audiences are used to. Normally, every episode of the show has its own self-contained story. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this season number of episodes was reduced to only 6, all of them forming a massive story, although it keeps its self-contained structure with the Sontaran plot. You can tell that it was filmed during the pandemic because of the reduced number of characters per shot. We have three main plots in this episode. Plot A follows the Doctor who's stuck in the Crimean War. She will be assisted by Mary Seacole, played by Sarah Fogle.
Is my British hotel.
They have the mission of kicking the Sontaran race out of Earth and stopping a massacre that would rewrite human history. Plot B follows Dan, who has been dragged to his own time, Liverpool in the 21st century. He soon discovers Earth has been invaded and the Sontarans are using the city as their base. With the help of Carvanista, they will assist the Doctor on her mission.
Like that, eh? Pan-fried Sontaran.
Plot C, with the shorter screen time, links the Sontaran plot with the main series arc. Jas will be dragged to the Temple of Atropos in the Planet of Time. She will meet General Binder and will be captured by the main villains of the series, Azure and Zorn. Stylistically speaking about the program, Doctor Who has always tried to look cinematic in a low budget. We have wonderful visuals due to the BBC spending their efforts in getting the show ready to compete in an industry dominated by giants such as Disney Plus and Amazon Prime. The music is epic, accompanying the story, and we also have some of the show's characteristic humor. Doctor Who is a show originally made for children, however, the last season seems more like made for a mature audience than infants, with on-screen massacres. Doctor Who is a wonderful format created by Sidney Newman and Verity Lambert, who passed to history not only as a pioneer, but as one of the most powerful TV producers in the industry. The show shines every time with its new secondary cast in each episode. Every great British actor has been in the show, even Michael Gambon. To conclude, we can say Doctor Who is the best entertainment for anyone who can deal with a little bit of escapism and lots of madness.
And also, I wanted to ride a horse.
As a conclusion for this video essay, today we have analyzed three different formats on the British TV industry. We have seen only a little bit of its variety, with it being one of the richest in the planet. An industry that creates thousands of jobs, boosts the economy in lots of different ways, and gives the audience what humans have always been hungry for: incredible stories.